Hey guys, so we're going to be adding a little edit button to our auction card. That way we can edit the auctions, change the price, the time, or the text if we want to. So I'm going to add like a little icon right here. We click on it, we go to a form, we make the changes, and we submit that to the server, and we see the update here. So yeah, that's what we're going to work on right now. So here's the code right here, and I'm on auth required, but we're going to start on this page right here, which is in view, auctions in view. If you don't have the code for this and you want it, I have it below in the description. And for this one, we are going to create basically another icon here, and it's going to say the icon name is great. I couldn't find a great icon. But this one will work good enough. It's kind of a pencil looking thing. I also don't know how to rearrange and design this to make it look nice. So I'm going to leave that to you guys to try to figure that out. I'm not a designer and I'm not good with styling, but I do know how to get the functionality to work. So that's what we're going to do. Click on the X, it'll work. If we click on this, we'll be able to edit. And so here's what I'm thinking. When we click on this, what I want to do is actually just kind of like navigate them to a page that looks a lot like this, right? Our create one. I want it to look almost identical to that. So I'm thinking I don't know, maybe refactor this and like make it so we can like put in values and like get that to work really easily. So if I hit confirm, see that pop here. So that's what I'm thinking. So that's what I'm going to try doing and see how that goes. So to do that, when we on press, what we want to do is switch to that page. And so this is the auction form page. And now what we can do is we can actually pass in a prop here that's going to be like the title. So then we can get the title and display that. So we want to show add auction, or we're going to say update auction. So that, everything reformatted. I'm going to get rid of this right. Get rid of that. We're not going to use it. And get rid of right here. Okay. But importantly, we're going to add another. We're going to accept another prop called title, and grab the title here. Now in view auction, when I call it down here, actions form page, I want to actually pass in the title add auction, and then it'll actually display it. Now if you were to run this, it would actually break, and the reason for that is if you go to our index page here, not this one, for our routes, our scenes, you'll notice how we're doing this auth required. And so the props, the scene props, are going to be passed to the auth required component, and this component is not passing the props to the component. So we just need to do this dot props. So what that will do is, okay, so let's expanded it. And by the way, when you guys see my code just like whip out and like change like that, it's just formatting. None of the code actually changes. I just had to use a plugin called Prettier that formats it. So the component here, we're passing the props, and these props come from the scene. And so that's important, we need those. And that's how we can do the title. So now if I come over here, you'll notice the title is now, we get from here, and we still see add auction. Okay, so the right was actually formatting it. I got rid of right, but I think we should keep that because I didn't realize that was formatting it. I forgot. I think it was here. And I think it was like that. There we go. We'll see if that worked in a second. Now, I want to do the same thing I'm doing here, right? Oops. We call this function, but I want to call that when we click on the create. So now instead of, I just put a dummy remove. We don't need that. All right. So now when we click on our create icon, the on press is going to be take us to this page. And now instead of add auction, we're going to say update auction. So now let's test and make sure that works. I'm going to refresh. I'm going to click on this icon, and bam, we see update. And now if we come down here, we click this, we should see add auction. And I really messed things up with adding that right. Oops, come back. It's probably right here. If that doesn't work, we'll move it here. And I can always do a diff of the file if this doesn't fix it. There we go. We're getting a dot 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 because it's getting too long. That's kind of awkward. Add auction is not that long, but update auction is. Can we get rid of this body tag? Maybe that will do it. There we go. It looks like it's kind of off kilter, but good enough for now. I'm not going to mess with getting the title to look perfectly. Okay. So now what we also need to change is we need to specify the function, whether it's create. So let's pass in a boolean for create, and we'll set the default to true. And then we're going to pass in two things, request create auction and request update auction. So if create is true, so if create, we pass in request this, else we're going to pass in request update. And then we don't need the body here anymore. So then our props, which is in our index here, we can add request update auction, which we get from here. And we need to add this. We're going to add this right now. I'm going to go through and we can add this. We need to make a few more changes to this guy. But let's go through and create basically the redux-saga stuff that we need for this. So in auction actions, we can create another one here. Request create action, request remove, and now we need request update. Oops, there we go. And update here. This really should say request remove at auction, but that's okay. Request update auction. I forgot I was using that naming pattern. And then here we do update. So then in our reducers, we don't have to change anything. Again, in our view here, we're listening for patched, not updated. That's fine. Patched and update's basically the same thing. They're slightly different, but what we'll do is we'll patch and it'll be okay. So we have our remove auction here, and let's rename this for update. So update auction saga, call update auction. Then here this will be update auction, and this will be call update auction, and here this will be request update. Alright, it doesn't have it memorized, update auction. There we go. And we just need to import those two functions. Request update auction, and then here we need to do update auction. Okay, and now we need to go into our API and actually update. And now we have some red. I think that's just from errors. Yep. So with our delete, cool. So now in our API here, similar to remove, we can literally copy and paste. It's going to be the same thing, and then we're just patching. And now, but here, this is going to be the object going to be passed to us is an auction. So we're going to patch and then give it an auction. And I believe it is the auction and then the ID of that. So we need to also pass in the ID somehow. So auction, comma ID. So we need to fix how we're passing data through because we need the auction, the updated data for the auction and the ID so we know which one we're changing. But okay, so our backend's all good. And what is export? Oh, update auction. There we go. So now we're able to handle the action when it's called and actually update it. We just need to correctly call it now. So that's going to be here. Yes. So here is going to be auction. This is going to be a function, and we'll pass an auction here. And here we'll pass an auction and the ID as an object. What's going on here? Ambiguous. I think if I wrap this with quotations, does it go away? It does. Cool. And we'll pass in the ID here. ID, and it's fine, it's undefined at first. Okay, it auto took those away. I'm fine with getting this error. Or not this error, this ESLint. Okay, so we have the ID, which we need to pass in, and the request update. Nice. So let's come in over here and pass the ID. So create is going to be false. Oops, it's going to be false, and the ID is going to be ID. And the ID we're getting from here, and I think that should be good, unless I'm forgetting anything, which we're about to find out. So let's try running this. So I'm going to try renaming this. So click on this. You'll notice how these fields aren't populated. We'll fix that in a second if this works. Bob2, and then select a date. Let's pick tomorrow. Submit. And nothing happened. And let's see why. React Native log iOS. Make sure if you want to run this too, you're inside of the silent auction application. And okay, nothing. Hit submit. Oh, you know what? Error, no data provided for patch. No data provided for patch. Not sure what that's about, but something I forgot is we're actually going to need to redirect in the browser. So if there's not an error, you see how we, so this is when we create an auction, which we do on that form. We check if there's not an error. If not, we redirect pages and then we reset the form. So we should do that when we're updating too. So where's our update? Here we go. And we print out the response. Console.log update response. So let's rerun this and see what happens. And when we refresh this, okay, so it did not get patched. So I'm just going to call this Bob2, 32, next day, submit. Okay, so now coming over here, we see update response, no data provided for patch. So what we can do to verify that we're not getting any data is I'm going to come in here and console.log auction. So if auction is an empty object or something, we know this is true. So come in here, refresh, pencil icon, and I'm just going to type one letter and hit submit and see what happens. Oh, okay, right. 13. There we go. Does it go through? Oh, I need to put a time too. I forgot we're validating this. There we go. Submit. And here's auction. Where is auction? Auction. Oh, that looks good. So the data is actually being passed. So what I'm thinking is I actually have this reversed. You pass the ID, then you pass the auction is probably how it works. If this does not work, I'm just going to go Google search what the Feathers API is and double check it. So Bob2, date, confirm, submit. And cool, looks like it's working. So Bob2 pops up here, our new price, and I think the price was adjusted for bids. I forgot what number I put here. Let's do that again real quick. Bob3, $11. Select date, confirm, submit. Okay, so our patch actually update, or patch, you know, doesn't work exactly. Let's just make this an update. So I'm going to change this to update. So the difference, guys, so hold on, let me back up and explain what's going on. So the reason patch is not working is because when we patch something that already exists, we said we basically are just, we assume it's a bid, which is not the case all the time. What if we do a regular update? Right? So like when I click this here, that's, we're calling patch and it's patching it here. But what happens if we want to just do a regular update and change things? We'll do an update instead of a patch. Now what patch does is, let's say you have an object called, and the value is, let's say we have a name which is Bob and then a price which is $13. If I were to patch this and I pass it the object price 14, the new object created is price 14. But if I were to update, the new object would just be price 14. So if I updated price 14, the object it creates is price 14. The reason for that is because there's not the name value here. Now if we add the name value here, Bob3, then you would see both those things pop up here. So patch keeps what you have before and only changes the stuff you have here. Update assumes if you don't add it, you don't want it. So now for update, we need to make sure we pass all the fields. So let's rerun this. I'm going to update now. So Bob99, and he's going to have a bid of $99. And set that, confirm, submit. Okay, so we don't see it now. That's okay, because we don't have our WebSocket set up for updates. But if I refresh, we should have seen it if it did work. So that means it did not work. And let's see, no data. Okay, so let's scroll down all the way down, and see what happened. We might just have to run it again because I don't see it. Oh, update response. ID is null. Bob99, 99. Created at is null. Updated at is null. Seller ID is null. Yeah, that's gonna mess stuff up. We really actually just need a patch. Actually, it's not. This is not a simple fix now that I think of it. Okay, screw this. We're patching. Because update is going to mess stuff up because we're going to kill these fields and I don't feel like fixing them. Alright, let's patch. We're going to basically, okay, so patch, we're going to patch now. The problem is when we patch, we've always assumed it was a bid. So now we want to patch and not assume it's a bid. And to do that, what I'm going to do is do pass in bid false ... So we're going to have to change our backend now to handle this. But what we'll do is we'll patch it. We'll check if the bid is false, and if it is, then we don't bid. So here is my server. I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code, and we don't need the front end anymore. It's all the rest of this is back-end work. So start this guy back up. And alright guys, so this is going to be a couple more seconds and then we'll be done. We just need to do place bid, right? So here, so we're running this hook on a patch and we're basically saying do this if it patches, I think. Let's double check. So services, auctions, hooks. You can see what's going on. And if we go to patch, it looks like we're adding the top bidder, and then we're placing the bid. So add top bidder. So we should only do this if hook.data.bid. Actually, we should say update. If update, if not update. There we go. So actually, let's open the front end real quick. I thought we were done with the front end, but I actually want to say update instead of bid false. So instead of passing in bid false here, I want to do update false. Oops, sorry, true. Okay. Now we're good on the front end. Alright, so if it's not an update, then we do our regular bid logic. If not, we pass right through. Same thing here. So I'm going to say, oops, if hook.data.update return, just return the hook. We don't even need to do the promise thing, I don't think. And I think that's it. I think it should just work now. Let's see if it does. Oh, we're not actually done with the front end, by the way. I forgot. There's one thing we want to do with our form too. Okay, Bob99. The bid still happened. Let's double check why. So we don't, it's definitely not our hooks doing this garbage. Hook.data.update. Oh, I didn't, I need to restart the server. I was like, I think our code is good now. I was surprised it did that. So let's say Bob1. Let's call it, no, let's go, forget Bob. Let's do Bobby. Bobby1. He's going to do a 1.11 bid. And sure, Sunday. Submit. Bobby 1.1 bid. Sweet, guys. And least time left. We're sorting by least time. So that's why Bobby went down here. We could update Bobby again and say 1 minute from now. And he should be at the top. Bobby. Cool. Now Bobby's at the top. So I want to add one last thing before we quit here, and that is with our edit, I'd like to see Bobby pop up here. Wow, Bobby popped up there. I was not, oh, I think I accidentally clicked the X there. Let's refresh. Yeah, whoops guys, sorry. What I was saying is I'd like to see Bobby pop up when I update, like the previous values, what they were. So, okay, so Bob is up here. I click this, right? I type stuff, I go back, I type stuff. Okay, it keeps it there. That's fine. That's like a small bug. I mean, we'll fix that maybe at the end of this video too. Why the heck not? But okay, when I click on this, if I'm refreshing, when I click on this icon, I would like to see the word Bob 123 in these fields. Let's add that. And that's going to be all front end. We are done with back end now. So close this, come back over here, open up my code for the front end, and let's jump right into things. So we need to pass in those values, right? So I'm going to do name, current price, and time left will be difficult. This is going to be actually a little bit difficult. Well, you'll see why in a second. So, okay. So this is a really, really long line. Let's bring it down. So now we're passing a lot more information over here. And maybe time left we don't. Yeah, actually it makes more sense not even to worry about time left. Time left we won't pass in. We'll just pass in name and current price. So then in our form here we can say name current price. There we go. And then in our auction form we can say we can pass in name, current price is equal to current price. And then if we come into our form here, we need to set the initial values of this thing. Ooh, and that'll be fun actually. I think I can pass the initial values through props, but I don't remember. I think it's initial values, name, current price. Where we can't do it like this anymore. Forgot we're using Redux form. I believe Redux form has this prop it looks for in all Redux forms, so we can actually pass as a prop here. So now if I go like that, cool, starting price, Bob shows up, starting price is not what it is. So what I'm thinking is it's named something else here. It's called price. So price, current price. Refresh. No. All right, I thought price would line up. So you need to make sure the name lines up. Right now the name is name, price is price. The name is price, current price. So that lines up correctly. What could be going wrong is current price here. Current price here. Current price could actually just be null. But we're showing the current price, I believe, right? Yep, we're showing current price, so the current price should be 123. We pass current price in when we click, which goes here. The initial values, price, auction form, create auction here. We call it price, so it should just show up. Dude, I'm just gonna refresh this again and see, because it looks like the chain looks like it should go through. Looks like there should be a value here. We're not doing the date, which is fine because that one's a little harder to do. Value of number supplied input expected string. Okay, so we just need to cast this to a string, it looks like. So easy way to do that, just like that. There's a ton of ways to cast integers to strings. That's just one way. And awesome, guys, we got the value to pop up. So now I can just add one to the end, add my date, confirm, submit, and bam. And now if we wanted to, we don't even have to, oops, we don't even have to patch, right? Come back here. Or we don't even have to change every value. I could leave, wait, the value of this is 124. Oh, initial values. Initial values doesn't change. So there's a small little buggy bug. And the reason for that is we need to add here, reinitialize values. There's some kind of thing. Let me go to Google. Redux form reinitialize values. Because we're initializing the values, there's a special prop you have to pass it, and I forget what it's called. So it's at the bottom. Initializing from state it's not gonna be here. It's gonna be on GitHub maybe. Reinitialize values. I think it's called reinitialize values. Let's see if it works. It's gonna be true. Reinitialize values. That's spelled right. Okay. So now I click this. I add a 5 here. I submit. It doesn't like because I didn't select a date. Select our date. Confirm, submit. Alright, now if I click this, I should see a 5 at the end, which I don't. So I didn't spell it right. Initialize values from container component. Enable reinitialize. Here we go. I just forget what that's called. So the reason why this doesn't pop up the 5 here is because the values are already there, right? We didn't reset them. And actually, maybe we should actually just do a reset. That'll fix our problems too. So that shows up, 6, select date, submit. Now if I hit this, we want to see 6 there, and we do. So we're good. So, but one last thing I want to fix is when I click this, come back, it should reset the form, right? And it does, but look, there's still, it's a little slow. Okay, there's an error if you hit the plus sign, because the plus sign doesn't reset. It doesn't set initial. Actually, maybe it will now. Let's see. We might have fixed our problem. We may not even need to reset. Look at that. The emulator's just crapping out right now. Okay, now hit the plus sign. If everything's blank, we're good. I actually think it will be blank because we're initializing the values and it's going to be undefined. And it is auction form page. That's not the name. Oh, you know what? I think it's the name. Let's rename this. I think it gets the name of what we call this thingy. So let's do auction name. And then let's say name is equal to auction name or an empty string, and the same with price. So we'll pass in auction name. And bam, I think we are all done with this video, guys. We have our update working now, I think. So push this button, add an A at the end, come back here, hit the plus, everything's clear, looking good. Hit this, and yeah, we're good to go, I think, now. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. We added the edit button there finally. Took a lot of work, actually. We had to update the server a little bit. And I'll put this on GitHub. And yeah, that's it for this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.